Camilla, what do you think is the most important things that leaders today need to understand and learn in order to thrive in this world of uncertainty and change and complexity?
Annicken, I'm at the point where I think the time has finally come for a more heartfelt leadership. So I think this century is going to be about connecting a little bit deeper, to connect with your own purpose and find that part of us as human beings that also include the care and the compassion and the empathy, which I'm convinced we have in us as human beings. It's in our DNA to care. But if you look at some of the stages in the world today, you cannot see that. And I think the time has finally come to bring that part into the power structure in the world, basically.
And how do you think we could do that? How can we reach all those power structures or those management teams, all those companies that still operate in the old model of command and control and my way or the highway, and you know the drill? What can we do to make that change happen?
Yeah, it's interesting because I see that when we operate in organizations today, that is what I feel in organizations. That is what I feel people want. And I feel that's what employees are. They are willing to walk the extra mile, do the 24/7 out of care and compassion. So I feel it and see it in organizations. But when you come to the world stage, that's where it's missing. So for me, it's missing at the top of our society. And so I think this has to come from below a little bit, if you want to use that word. But it's so strong. So if you start to look at that in organization, it's already outnumbering the ego-driven leadership that we see on the top. But it takes a little bit of time for that to break through in the society. But when you start to look at that, for me, that's super clear. It's everywhere. And in organizations, that is the underlying driving force among the people. But it's still a lot of the old, what I call the old capitalism, who is still a bit in control in the society. So I'm waiting for that breakthrough to happen.
But when you look at the latest numbers from Gallup, 21% of the global workforce are engaged in the jobs. 13% in Europe are engaged in the jobs. How come?
Yeah, and for me it's fascinating because for me those statistics confirm what we talk about now. And people in organizations want to care, but the top of the pyramid cares in words, but not in action. Every web page company that you see today have a purpose where they are going to care for the people and the planet. And then you see the CEOs. Every quarterly report starts with, the rate of return, the profitability, the numbers, the revenue this quarter. I don't see many publicly listed company CEOs start their quarterly report with the impact they have on the world. It's the numbers. And I'm not against the numbers, of course, but it's licensed to operate. All of us in business are here to create revenue and to create profitability. But it's not a contradiction. We need to lead with what is this company here to do for the world? And when we do that, we generate business and profitability. It's not a contradiction, but many parts of the business society, I think, still operates like that it is a contradiction. So if you do impact investment, that's almost like that means lower return expectations. But that's false. In the journey I'm doing now, where I'm going capital allocation more clearly than I've done before, I see that there is impact, truly impact-driven companies who generate much more return than the traditional, maybe private equity is expecting, the 2, 3, 4 times the investment. I see companies, conscious-led tech, which I call it, who maybe are like 10 times. So it is not a contradiction. Those two can and need to come together in this century.
If we still think about the regular employee, if I can put it that way, so people working in startup or a large company or mid-size, and they have a manager, and it turns out that if people are not happy with the manager, 7 out of 10 people leave their jobs because of the managers. So you have you have the top and you have the people, but then in between you have managers who are responsible for people's happiness, if I can put it like that, at work, or productivity that other might use. And as you and I always agree on, from happiness, and when people feel great about what they do, they are more productive and they are more effective in their jobs as well. What is your advice to those managers so they can become better leaders for the people that they lead?
I think many of those managers are in the squeeze and probably feel that squeeze. And I don't know if it's a trend, but I see more and more managers following the inner calling. So if they cannot stand in something that is contradicting with the integrity or the inner wisdom or the desire to care, I see more and more managers, leaders taking action and leave companies and find something that resonates better with the deeper inner calling. And that's my advice. I think the CEO, one of the previous CEOs of Visa, has said that the leadership of this century is the inner journey. And I think that resonates so well with me. I think and we have a responsibility as leaders, because business is such an important part of the society, basically building the society. So if what the company is doing is not resonating, I would urge leaders to take action on that, to find roles and companies who are operating in a way that resonates with that inner calling, because it exists more and more companies that are doing that, luckily.
I remember you once asking me, where did the word corporate spring come from? And I think I told you that it was established right around the time with the Arab Spring. And we said that the people need to do uproar. So if you're a leader, do you want to be a Mubarak, or do you want to kind of join the people and create good and sustainable change? So what you're saying now is actually managers uproar, leave companies that does not stand for your values, don't do work that is not aligned with who you are, and that change can come bottom-up driven and not only wait for the top to make those changes, because that will take a time.
Yeah, and I think if leaders do work, commit to work, hours, effort that don't align with that inner calling, it's only the leaders, it's ourselves who pay for that. The company will not be grateful for that. It's like we pay for that. So I think it's crucial to find that. And I remember I first saw the name Corporate Spring before I had met you. It resonated with me, because the spring part of that is like, yeah, it's a new spring for business. It's a new spring for the corporate world. And I feel now, and I think I see it, I think the signal from the business world is very clear. If you take on that those glasses and look upon the business world from that perspective, that the spring is here now. When you started this was maybe like 10 years ago or so. But I think now the time has come and the spring is here.
Amazing. Thank you.